Worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq hollering at you one more again. All right. This video, we're going to go ahead and title The Difference Between the Paradigm Shift and the Planetary Energetic Wave. Right? So, first of all, we'll talk about the difference between what each is and how we'll come to see the two paths, right? So the energetic wave, I'll start there. We talk about the planetary shift, right? And those folks who commonly discuss this or refer to this occurrence would know that I'm referring to the actual dimensional shift on this planet. All right, that's in itself quite a significant statement, right? Okay. So yes, I am in fact stating that this planet, our planet Earth, is beginning to and will be completely going through very shortly. Well, let me not put a time prediction on it. We'll just say soon. We'll be going through an actual dimensional shift, right? Again, quite a significant statement. But let's talk about this, right? As I often do, I'll begin to look at this from a purely scientific standpoint, because that seems to be what makes most folks comfortable, right? Although I will say that we're going to have to, in my estimation, become much more comfortable with understanding and perceiving things from a more subtle or sensitive perspective. In other words, we're going to need to perceive things from a perspective that is derived from other means of sensing things and perceiving things. So, what do I mean by that? I mean, right now, this reality, we tend to perceive based on our five senses. And that is sufficient in giving us the data we need to come up with a clear perception of what this world is all about, right? This 3D slash 4D reality that we exist in. And for many people, I even said quite a bit just then. What do you mean 3D slash 4D? Okay, so to talk again from a scientific perspective, good place to start. This planet, let me go back a little further. Dimensional science, I did make an entire video on that, right? So it might be helpful to view that video before this one. But I'll just quickly say that the difference, and pardon me folks, I'm trying to put this in the most simplistic way I can. The difference, or what gives us some separation, or gives us a way, framing up what different dimensions are, is to understand first that everything in existence is in motion or in vibration, and generally never at rest, right? How fast something vibrates in a given time frame, right? Or another way of putting that, the speed of that vibration is measurable, right? Most often and in hertz or megahertz, depending on what you're describing, and is referred to as frequency. How frequent something vibrates is its frequency, right? So again, without getting too deep into explaining dimensional science or degrees of separation between dimensional states of existence, we'll just say that but for an attempt to describe this as simplistically as possible, again, we'll say that the faster something vibrates, the higher the dimensional state of existence it is in. Folks, certainly dimensional science is far more complicated than that. Certainly a whole lot more to be considered in that discussion. But again, we just want a very basic understanding so that we can move forward with this discussion. So, the Earth and its vibrational frequency for quite some time now, its vibrational frequency has been increasing or getting faster or raising, depending on how you want to describe that. But its vibrational frequency is measurable, most commonly referred to in scientific circles as the Schumann resonance, right? And it's typically measured by measuring the field, the electromagnetic field between the Earth's crust and its ionosphere, right? And this gives us a means by which to track that, to measure that. So, the Earth's Schumann resonance has been spiking and plateauing increasingly for years now, right? Particularly the last 10 or 15 years. And most significantly, in terms of spikes and plateau increases in the past 5 years or so, right? Now, when I say spikes, I mean the resonance will, if we're looking at it on a graph, will literally spike up. Just to throw out an example, let's say the resonance is typically, I'm again just making up a term, 100 hertz, right? Again, not a literal measurement, just using that as a round number to give us some understanding of this as an example. So if it's typically at 100, it would spike, let's say to 120 or 130 or 150, right? And then go back down to its typical 100. That's a spike. That's what I mean when I say the resonance has spiked. A plateau is when the resonance would spike, but then begin to maintain that particular resonance. So it would raise and then maintain and plateau off, right? Okay, I hope that's easy enough to understand. So these spikes and plateaus have been increasing like almost like steps, right? So essentially, our planet's human resonance, or its vibrational frequency, has been gradually increasing and steadily increasing for some years now, and most drastically as of late. All right? So, a higher vibrational frequency also would mean, with our general understanding, right, that the planet itself is increasing in dimensional state of existence. Now, we can look at it, again, attempting to keep this very simplistic, as there being thresholds between different dimensions, right? So, if we say that, for example, generalization, the way I state this again, if we say, for example, the third dimension is from 100 hertz to 150 hertz, right? Then we would say, once you cross that threshold of 150 hertz, you would move into fourth dimensional existence, right? Okay, that's the general understanding that we're working with, the general example. So, if our planet is increasing, again, in vibrational frequency, and it is vibrational frequency thresholds that separate or differentiate dimensional states of existence. And if, as you vibrate at a higher, or as anything vibrates at a higher vibrational frequency, then it will eventually cross a vibrational frequency threshold, right? Okay. Because of that, our planet is quite literally, because of its increase in vibrational frequency resonance, brought about by those increases, right? Remember, almost like steps, right? You get what I'm saying? Almost like steps, that vibrational frequency is increasing and we are moving or going through a dimensional shift. All right? Now, as things increase in vibrational frequency, they also expand, right? They become more expansive. Conversely, as things become or exist at lower vibrational frequency, they become more dense. This is why physical reality or corporeal physical existence is at a lower vibrational frequency than more subtle states of existence, like a spiritual or energetic state, or you could say a more subtle or expansive state, or a less dense state, is what you move into with the higher vibrational frequencies and the higher vibrational states of existence. Okay. Now, touching on the energetic wave and what that means to the planet from a scientific standpoint. Scientists, as I've mentioned in other videos, have been charting for years now drastic increases in the amount of energy that is being emitted from the center of the galaxy, or what is commonly referred to in scientific circles as the central sun. These energies, different forms of energies that are increasingly being emitted from the central sun, have a drastic and profound effect on every single star in our galaxy. It's actually kind of logical, right? That includes our sun, okay? Which means that the energy emitted from the stars has, of course, and logically, a very profound and intense effect on the planets in each of these solar systems. Ours is no different. Specifically, scientists have charted increases, drastic increases in different energy forms. For example, infrared waves, right? Ultraviolet waves, gamma waves, right? Increase or have increased in terms of their bombardment of this planet drastically in recent years. The Earth is being literally bombarded with energy, galactic, cosmic energy being emitted both from the central sun and more directly from our sun, our star, right? This has an incredibly profound effect, not only on the planet, which is a living, sentient entity or being, right? And all of its inhabitants, right? Especially mammals, as we are more porous, right? Having a porous epidermis, and not like insects, for example, that may have an exoskeleton. But even them, particularly with their design having antennae, which are incredibly sensitive, they're profoundly impacted as well, right? Just through different mechanism. So we are seeing, and we know scientifically that impact shows up in quite a few different ways. One very profound way that it shows up is in the brain waves that human beings, or the brain wave frequency that human beings are operating on or thinking on is changing, right? You have alpha waves, beta waves, and it's said that we're actually beginning to think on a level in which we're utilizing theta waves, right? Not going to go too deep into that aspect of it, but just that we understand our minds, right, are having a profound reaction or being impacted profoundly by all of these increasing energies that the planet and all of its inhabitants are being bombarded by. On top of that, many of us are cognizant of the rotation of our planet, as that is what gives us our calculation of what we call a day, 24 hours for our planet to rotate on its axis. We know that So we use revolutions or cycles to give us what we refer to as our time. Another example would be, right, the revolutional orbit of this planet around the sun. That revolution or orbit is what gives us our year. So we're used to calculating these things and using these things, but when we extrapolate and go a little bit further, we have to take note to the movement of our solar system within the galaxy. I mentioned earlier a central sun. All right, so the solar systems of this galaxy orbit the central sun much the same way the planets in the solar system would orbit their star. So, our galaxy and all the other galaxies, or pardon me, our solar system and all the other solar systems are in this constant orbit around the central sun. Which means, folks, that we're constantly moving through different areas of the galaxy. Now, this rotation takes far more than a year, right? It takes thousands of years for our planet to make, in our solar system, to traverse or make its way around the entire galaxy. Galaxy is huge, right? So, that is another cycle. But beyond it being another cycle, we should think of what that means to us and what it means to our planet. So, if our planet and all of its inhabitants, our solar system and all the other planets, right, we're all now finding ourselves in an area in the galaxy that we've not previously been in before, that we're aware of during our time on this planet. That's another subject, but that goes back to how long we've been on the planet. If you go with biblical explanations, you know, you're looking at only a few thousand years, but we know in reality they've found the remains of, just for example, the black woman in Africa, the African woman, should I say. Even saying that is incorrect, because Africa really shouldn't be termed Africa. That was what it was renamed to be. But anyway, that woman found her remains were over 2 million years old. So that changes the conversation a little bit. But anyway, as far as we have in our recorded history, we haven't been in this area of the galaxy, or at least not for quite some time. Certainly thousands of years. That's profound, though, right? How do we know what energies are prevalent in this area of the galaxy? How do we know what celestial events have occurred since the last time this solar system was in this area of the galaxy that would have a profound energetic effect? So a lot of things that are question marks that could have a very profound impact on us. All right. So I said all that mouthful to say that there are quite a few energetic and profound, incredibly profound and powerful cosmic forces and energies that are having a great impact on us and our planet. This is why we are finding ourselves in a position of witnessing a dimensional shift here on our planet. Now, that increase in Schumann resonance, as I stated earlier, is what denotes us moving into, or the process of us moving into higher and higher dimensional states. Well, one of the things that is at least theorized to sort of push us over the precipice vibrationally, frequency-wise, into a new dimensional state, or what many would term the fifth dimension, is that wave of energy that I referred to earlier. When I say the energetic wave, I'm talking about a wave of energy being emitted from our star, from our sun. All right. These are the energies that I was referring to earlier. And their impact on our star is not only showing that we have been experiencing a very profound increase on what is being expelled from our star energetically, but it's showing that it's ramping up to something, it appears to be, right? And many theorize that that something it's ramping up to is a huge dispersal of energy, or an energetic wave, right? And this wave of energy is theorized to again be that catalyst that will push this planet, vibrationally speaking, frequency speaking, into a higher vibrational frequency resonance, thus into a higher dimensional state of existence, right? Into what we refer to as the fifth dimension. That's the energetic wave aspect of this, which I didn't plan on quite taking that long to explain, but I wanted to make sure we had that basic understanding of it before we talk about the difference between that and the paradigm shift, right? So, that is the energetic wave. This is a process that we're going through. This is what people are commonly referring to when they say we're moving into the age of Aquarius and, we're going into the fifth dimension. I thought that it would be important to try and give a little bit of a scientific connection to those statements so that we had more of a round understanding and a little bit more of a common ground for all of us to stand on and formulate our own opinion or means by which we describe this process, right? But we know that this is something that's happening, okay? It's real, it's happening, and it's out of our hands. So certainly no reason for us to worry about it. And quite the opposite, there's cause for us to celebrate and be happy about it. Very much happy, very happy about it. And without going into a whole nother video, which I easily could do on why we would be so happy about moving into the fifth dimension, quickly, let's just say that scientists have also charted, right, what increased vibrational frequency, or what vibrational frequency looks like in human beings, and how those different frequency states are expressed, or rather how they correlate to our emotional or mental states, right? And again, without getting into a whole big discussion about that, let's just say that the higher the vibrational frequency you are on, you're experiencing wonderful, you are in excellent states of existence emotionally and mentally and spiritually, like happiness, love, enlightenment, etc., right? And when you are in a lower vibrational frequency state, you are residing in emotions like guilt, apathy, hate, anger, envy, right? So, quite naturally, if we see that human beings in a higher frequency state are enjoying much better states of existence, right? Or we're happy, we're enlightened, we are willing, we're going through all these different high states of existence that are quite beautiful. You know, I want to live in a world where generally individuals are happy and peaceful and enlightened, right? Rather than live in an existence or a world where individuals are guilty, apathetic, envious, angry, things of that nature, lower vibrational frequency states. So that's good. The paradigm shift is completely different. The paradigm, or a paradigm, I guess the best way to describe it is the state of the world in which we create or have created, right? What do I mean by that? So, as the dominant species on this planet, we are essentially the shepherds of this planet, right? And the responsibility falls on us to establish the direction in which this planet goes, right? And we've done that. Unfortunately, because we have been manipulated for so long by various nefarious forces, we have an issue there, right? And to how we've allowed our planet, or how we have developed the paradigm of our planet's current existence. When we talk about the paradigm, we're talking about the way that human beings have established a standard of relating with each other and with our planet in our quest for survival, or actually in our quest for a thriving existence. Because survival, I don't think we would survival's not a goal as much as I would say what you do beyond survival, right? You survive, that means you continue on. So if you continue on, what are you doing, right?